Hey guys, welcome to the Side Talk live stream with your host Captain Naga. Hey man, it's Halloween today. We got the Halloween music. What I want to tell you about, what I want to tell you about today is the Salem witch trials and how it ties into psychedelics and also how it ties into knowing who you are and being who you want to be in that momenti. All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to keep this awesome cat mask on the whole time because I cannot breathe in it. But I'll keep it like this. There we go. So hopefully y'all having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time this is coming at you. Take this energy that we all in the same boat. We can start the conversation. All right. Like I said, it's October 31st. It's Shamham, Halloween, All Hallows Eve. Hey, what's up, Psychedelic L? Hey. I'm talking about psychedelics. I'm going to the Salem witch trials, ergot, LSD, how everything ties together, and how people based off their own ideals can put other people down, and that's still happening in this world today. The stigmatism on psychedelics and on the hidden truth of who you really are. So before I start any of this, I gotta say for the censors, the Side Talk live stream does not promote the use of illegal or legal drugs. What you do with your bodies, what you do with your body. What we do on this channel is we go over scientific research, and plus I give my 2 cents on my past experiences. This is for educational purposes. Educational purposes. All right. Yeah, so if y'all don't know, the Salem witch trials happened in 1662. Wow. Yeah, y'all with me. 1692. And it was about um little girls, adult girls, and now I'm seeing that even men were involved. They were prosecuted and hanged by the church, which was just really the Protestant community. The whole community was ran by was the church. It wasn't really a difference as we have nowadays. This was before 1776. So this was in Salem, Massachusetts. Salem, Massachusetts. So the hysteria was real. The mass hysteria was real. You'll see I got this picture right here of the trials and somebody being accused and everything. But how, without the Tai'es thought that I want y'all to keep in your mind is how do you feel when you're being persecuted for something that you just feel, and that you just want to talk about, something that you experienced. A lot of the psychedelic experiences that people talk about, that people go through, they don't like to talk about it because of the stigmatism placed on it. Since the 50s and the 60s, people out, the government and everything, they would say make you go crazy or make you believe you can fly, or it'll make you see pink elephants and stuff like that, and it will drive you down to madness and homelessness and all of that. So just imagine how you would feel, because that's what was happening to these witches. And oh yeah, it's the 326th anniversary as well since this happened. A total, I got my notes, that's why I keep looking down, but a total of 8 people was hanged for alleged crimes of witchcraft. They were among 20 who were killed as a result of the hysteria in New England. And man, I just got tired on the thoughts that I have in my head. But a huge thing that people look at is we try to see what started these trials. And the ergot is something that grows on moldy rye bread, and the tied together, ergot is where LSD, lysergic acid dimethylide, was derived from. They were trying to treat menstrual problems and everything, and Albert Hoffman was trying to develop this new awesome medicine. But little did he know, he developed LSD. And he knew it during his bike ride and everything. Y'all know the story, such and such. But the whole thing is that he derived it from ergot. And that this is the same thing that was ergot poisoning was happening a lot back in the 1600s because they was making rye bread and the bread making process wasn't always able to have the best. Well, they didn't. I don't believe they had refrigeration or plastic bags with the tiles on the end to make sure the bread stayed fresh and nice for a while. They didn't have that, and they were experiencing what the Bible, because that's why I tied it all together. The Bible, the Christianity, and everything. They tied it. They have these things that goes against witchcraft and witches. So the idea of even calling them a witch, of persecuting them for witchcraft, came from the King James Christianity Bible and all of that. So this was their set mindset. This is what they were programmed in since birth. As soon as they came in the womb, they was like, "You're a Protestant. Wear this hat. This is what you believe in. This is what you don't believe in. This is what you fight against. If stuff like this comes up, you got these scriptures to back it up, so you stand firm in your religion and your God and everything." I say all of this just to build up the mindset, just to give y'all a clear picture of how strong the mindset of these Christians was. It's the same, if you look at it, it's the same like how people in Christianity look at gays and lesbians and transsexuals and everything. A lot of people wish death on these people. A lot of people just wish straight up death. And if y'all think I'm lying, I found some. I Google Bible verses that deal with witchcraft and stuff like that, because this is what they were reading back then. This is what the Protestants and everything was reading back then, when all of a sudden these women and men were saying they were experiencing seeing different colors or seeing spirits or being able to hear other people's voices and everything. And think about the psychedelic experience. This is what a lot of people, including myself, have experienced. Time dilation, time seeming to not exist, seeming to have inner connection, inner talking with disconnected consciousnesses and stuff like that. But this is what the Bible said you should do. This was Exodus 22 verse 18, so y'all can look it up for yourself. It says, "You shall not permit a sorceress to live." Wow. A woman, a man or a woman. This is Leviticus 20:27. And I know that's like where all the laws and stuff. It's a man or a woman who is a medium or necromancer shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned with stones. What else you gonna stone them with? Their blood shall be upon them. Like, what about the personal responsibility? What about the personal responsibility that people throw in the stones? We all got glass houses. Just tie. Just think about the things that I'm saying. Just ties when you combine your mind with your heart, keep that circle spinning, like whatever come out, and just whoosh. I got some more. It says, "Do not turn to mediums or necromancers. Do not seek them out. So make yourself unclean by them. I am your Lord." Wow, yeah. And then, so this is what they were. That's the thoughts. That was their law. That was the law given to them by their God, by that spirit that they believe in, that they're existing in. So that's when these people were coming out saying that they were, and the people, the twisted up thing about it is that these people, if you want to tie into the psychedelic experience and how it corrects the neuroplasticity happens in your brain, which means that neurons find a new pathway so that past traumas or past ideals that were embedded into you can now find a new way to exist. PTSD, like a lady that said their ayahuasca experience, it seems though her brain found a way around the PTSD so that it didn't bring about the same emotional traumas that kept her down and not allow her to be able to fulfill her life dreams and everything. Psilocybin mushrooms, we see how it interacts with your amygdala, which is the part of your brain that controls your emotions. So everything is happening, and these people back then didn't have a proper context They weren't alive during 2018, the psychedelic renaissance, where people from many different voices are talking about their experiences and starting the conversation in hospitals, doing the study so we can get down to the nitty gritty of what's actually going on when we ingest these psychedelic substances. Because these people were straight killed, and they didn't know. They didn't know what was really going on while they were having these experiences. Imagine you just picked up a tab of LSD and thought a piece of paper inside the munch on it. That's a real big example. Well, imagine you just picked up a mushroom, thought it was the food, confused it, and then you're like, whoa, what's happening? And you grew up in this Protestant religion all your life, Protestant community, Protestant world, because these were the Protestants that moved from from England over to supposed new and so their whole community, they all held the same ideals in their head, and it was all based off of the Bible, based off of the King James Bible, the Christianity Bible, all of that. So the people themselves, they did not know. The so-called witches, for the most part, they didn't know what they were really doing. So to their best knowledge, we're only able to talk about what we know. And that's why I like starting a conversation about weird ideas, because I grew up in the church as well. I was heavily involved in the church, my family and all. And I was always getting weird ideas and weird thoughts and everything. But it was being filtered because I only person I had to ask questions to about deep things was other people from the church. I even had friends that say, "Oh yeah, I dabble in this," or "I know this." So my interpretations was coming from the church. Say, "Oh, that's just a demon," or "Oh, you don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole because the Lord thy God said no, no, no." So I was beating myself up a lot, and I was confused about. Oh, drop water on the computer. And I was confused about a lot of things that was actually going on in my thoughts, in my mind, and everything. So I can just imagine these people with no internet experiencing these otherworldly thoughts, or non-normal, non-local thoughts, non-3D thoughts. They thoughts in my mind was connecting to the fourth and fifth dimension, to the other realms. And they were expanding their consciousness, but they weren't understanding it. So they themselves were, most of them, I got some facts for y'all later, but most of them were describing their experiences in ways that would just damn themselves. Like, oh yeah, I communicated with the devil, because that is the only other spirits out there, is the devil. So that's what I was communicating. I made a pact with the devil to do this and that. Oh, I can't read the Bible. Oh, because it was reports of them trying to force a way that they found the witch guilty was saying, here, read this Bible. And then the witch was like, I can't read it. Or that's probably exaggeration, like, my eyes burn. But they found that they had trouble reading it. And the only reason just tied with me, I believe that they had trouble reading it if they were having these psychedelic experiences and stuff. Because like reading any book and that goes deep, like this doesn't totally make sense. This is what somebody else wrote down, but they weren't able to process that locally, cognitively, like in their intellect, because it was filled with so much programming that now that this experience was happening, they were having a bad trip because it was a blockage still there of stuff that ideals and ideologies that they did not want to let go. So they were struggling. And this is what's happening now. A lot of bad trips occur because people, once they adjusted the substance, I know for myself, sometimes suicide mushrooms, like, oh man, I took this illegal drug. I used to back in the day. I took this illegal drug, man. Oh, I'm such a bad person. Oh, and that can, if you don't get hip to those thought processes right there, it can turn into a bad trip based off of people that's not even around you, but the ideas that's just implanted in your head. And the persecution is real. I think they drug test us. But to stick with the Salem witch trials, I got some names. Oh, I got some names of the people that were actually hanged, man. It says in Massachusetts in the late 1600s, a few young girls, including Elizabeth Parris, age 9, Abigail Williams, age 11. 9 and 11. This pushed people to kill people or imprisoned people at age 9 and 11. Like, wow, wow. Claimed to be possessed by the devil and blamed local witches for their demons. They sent panic throughout the village of Salem and led to accusations of more than 200 local citizens over the next several months. This is how it was all starting. Like, this wasn't just a wham bam, we got you, thank you, man, that's all over. This occurred over a couple years, these prosecutions and everything. Yeah, it resulted in multiple court hearings. And when they locked them up, they were chained to walls in the prison's basements, and they were like dark and everything. They chained them up, and there's some dominatrix thing. Like, man, when you regress yourself, stuff come out when you start being angry and trying to control other people. Your perversion really comes out then. I'll say that. Say, while in prison, the accused, many of them women, were repeatedly humiliated by being forced to strip naked and undergo physical examinations of their new bodies. They were probably like, let me see, poke hair, some magic come out, or devil poke, like excuses. And it took them 20 years. 20 years. In 1711, the colony passed a bill pardoning the accused. 20 years. So it was people still locked up. They didn't go about just killing and hanging everybody, but some of the people they just locked up. And it took 20 years. 20 whole years. So, oh yeah. These people are just, yeah, just let them go. Just let them go. I don't even know the excuse that they brought out. I heard that a lot of people just try to bury the story. A lot of people live in Salem, Massachusetts, and everything. They try to bury the story because they feel guilty about it. And the cool thing I like about it, though, is that I learned that there were some other witches. There were some other witches that didn't want to be outed because they were enjoying their new visionary powers. So just tie about that. Just tie. There's people out there that was actually enjoying their experiences and they stayed on the low brow. That reminds me of people today in the site that have psychedelic experiences that are really up there, like the tech corporations, to see everything. What is a witch? A witch to me is somebody who, like witches and warlocks. Like I always been into Bewitched and always been into witch shows. Sabrina the Teenage Witch and everything. I believe the term witch is a personality type. Like when you actually put words and dimensions on type of things, it's a personality type of somebody that practices, that has herbs and that brings about visions and believes in the goddess of nature and everything. But on the overall scale, without using this term witch, connected to the term witch, I believe just a person who knows themselves to be the controller of this reality and knows that this person, this body is just the person, is the witch, but they able to connect to the higher forces and connect to things outside of themselves. They recognize that it's things outside of themselves. They have visions, premonitions. This all the things that's been classified under the term witches. But I believe that the witch and the warlocks is who we all are, the magician. And is that I believe witches is people as well that bring about, that use so-called spells. We all use spells though, just to tie real fast. Words are spells. All words are spells. Whenever, yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. I am feeling real geeky right now. But all words are spells, and what spells create reality. And when I believe the witches and go back to the pagan history and everything, a lot of Christianity, they call paganism witchcraft. That was all witchcraft to them. So when they were seeing that they were changing reality according to their own will, the Christians, and not by God's will, they're the God that they chose to follow, the spirit that they chose to follow in this world, but they wasn't following God's will. They's like, oh, these people are our enemy, we need to help them. So they converted Samhain, which is the original pagan Halloween name. They changed that to All Hallows Eve and then changed it to Halloween. And then they tried to damn it in the same respect, but still take it over. I grew up in the church, and for a long time, most of my Halloweens were spent in church, handing out flyers to people, tracts and everything about saying, "Hey man, do you really know what you're doing for Halloween? I don't think you know, man. Here, read this. Jesus loves you." I really know. I'm really talking from a combined view of both sides. I'm not just damning one side, praising the other side. I know I'm in this. I know how ideals can be shaped. And what I was talking about, the tech companies and the people you don't ever hear about, how that's related to that one witch was like traveling back to Salem. This one witch was like, I'm not going to out the other witches in the other town because they enjoy what they're doing. They're not all freaking out saying they talking to the devil and all this stuff. They cool with their new visionary powers. And that's what I believe a lot of these graphic designers that's making these cartoons, the tech companies, the tech mongols and CEOs out here in Silicon Valley, how microdosing psychedelics is like the new rave. It's put on a hush hush unless you toe to toe, buddy with a lot of those people, and they're like, oh yeah, this is what I usually do. And I know they're experiencing a lot of things. I know they're experiencing a lot of weird circumstances and having experiences that a lot of people won't call normal or would damn them for, just like the witches back in the Salem witch trials. That's why this is so important for me to talk about on this Halloween, for us to tie about. Because the same thing that was happening is the same thing that's happening now. So that now we got internet so we can actually talk and communicate on a more deeper level. Really get our thoughts out there and not have them translated by a judge or something like that. Or a lawyer. We are our own lawyers. Listen, I have... Yeah, that was something I was mentioning. I was looking up some more facts that I had. That they weren't all women. And that it was some... Wow. And this is talking about the male control. Say gender did play a vital role in hysteria. Women did not incarcerate their husbands, but it was more of the men saying, "Oh, my wife is freaking out," or "My wife is worshiping the devil." We're like, "Take her away." Family fingers pointing in all directions. Wow. And yeah, and although no son ever accused the father or father accused the son. And y'all know all about the suppressing of the sacred feminine, that all plays into why they were accusing these witches and everything. You don't never hear the Salem witch and warlock trials. You always just hear the Salem witch trials. Like, yeah, we killed these witches, we hanged them. They were worshiping the devil and stuff like that. This is a time that don't go down this route. That's a suppression of the sacred feminine, if I didn't hear a better example myself. So be careful out here. Be able to be expressive, be able to be creative, be able to be yourself, calmness, and not live in a world of fear. 4-letter spell. The witches knew how to how to break that 4-letter spell, and they were sticking by what they were saying. And the church was like, and Salem was like, we gotta hang them. We still gotta hang them. I'm sorry. We ain't sorry. We ain't sorry for another 20 years. Alright, what's some more facts I had? Alright, what you say? It says, Psychedelic Ill said, the world is moving into freedom of ideas and freedom of expressions, which sounds like a great future. Yes, we are moving into the realm of freedom of expression and ideas, and it's coming in the most awakening of ways. Like, what I mean by awakening is the most shaken awakening of ways. Because even if you tie about Trump and everything, he's the physical manifestation of our collective consciousness in America. And y'all see how he just saying whatever he want and stuff like that. And he's saying, oh, it's my freedom of expression, and people are accepting it. Massive amount of people are accepting it. So out of my biasism and stuff of how I want the world to be at this moment and who I wish to be president and all that stuff, the level of ideas, things shake when you move them or when you change the future. Yeah, when you move them or change the future. It does. And when you talk about your ideas, when you share and expressing it, that's affecting the future right there. And the way I was saying with Trump, how it's just coming out, that's how it's going to come out in all levels. Like, you gotta go through the dark night of the soul and everything. Right now, our dark night of the soul, Trump and everything, we're just screaming out everything. And then after this little thing goes by, flushes by, we all settle down to control, more comfortable. Not just talking about the good things that happen in our life, but the bad, deep thoughts that we have in our head. And in the future, I have hope that we be able to tie everything all together. As a group, as people, and not just on the basis as individuals, something like that. I got something I wanted to show. Oh, there it is. See if that plays. That's the actual site where. Oh, I guess not. It was the actual site though. I was trying to show where they were playing, where the hangings actually took place. But overall, if y'all get anything from this, know that don't be scared to be yourself. And that as soon as you start really diving deep into your weird experiences and believing that you can create your own reality and dispelling yourself from all the spells that was placed on you from reality since birth, on who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, what you're supposed to eat, people are going to come after you. People are going to come after you with ideals, with ideas. And with that, the way that that's going to attack you is going to attack your mental. Because some of those ideas, most of us still hold on to. But just don't be scared to let go. We here, we all family, this is all the Tai'ers, we all together. And when it comes to psychedelics, weird experience while meditating, near-death experiences, or if you just never changed since you was a child and you was able to keep up things, all the weird experiences, man, we all in this boat together. We all in a just tie ship together, just thinking about this stuff. That's how reality is created. We're just thinking about this. That's how this is all created in the first place. The universe is mental, all held in the mind of the all. So, man, just tie. Oh, another thing about the another thing I was thinking about the Bible and everything, and how these people were using the Bible to justify the killing and hangings of multiple people based off of accusations and things like that of their experiences. King Solomon was a huge magician. He practiced magic. He practiced when he built the this Solomon's temple. This was King David of the Israelites. This was his son, and he had a magical ring, and that was enchanted, and he controlled demons, and that's how they put in the Bible and everything, or in the Gosha texts that were written by a lot of occult masters and things back in the day. But King Solomon was a whole magician, and yet he's praised as in the Bible as one of the wisest characters ever. I'm just talking about magic in general now, because you don't hear that in the Bible about the particular that he did. He was able to summon genies out of vases and had them build blocks and temples and everything. Or Moses, he was a magician. Supposedly, he split the Red Sea, and he challenged the magician inside the court when he turned the rod into a snake. So, and this is all tying together. This all tying together to say, the really Look out for what you choose to believe in and what you choose to follow. Because I don't believe in nothing, really. I don't believe in nothing. I break it down, Flight Boss saying, break it down. Belief is when you believe in a lie. Everything here is a lie. Everything here is an illusion. So if you believe in anything down here, you're believing in a lie. So watch what you following. As I don't believe nothing. I'm bringing up that chat. Yeah, shop up. This happened last time. People are the magicians. You're right. And we are the magicians. We're brought here to bring the experience that bring the heaven down to earth. That's what magician does. He's that connector between the two worlds, the one that exists. You got the one hand like this and the other hand pointing down. If you look at the tarot magician card I'm thinking about, as above, so below. But we were programmed and everything to not fully realize that, or not believing in it, or even fight that side of ourselves. That's why I like this like looking at the Salem witch trials and really examine it, because a lot of other ideas that when it pops up and you're real deep into Christianity, like, oh, I gotta talk to my pastor about this. Oh, I gotta talk to my priest about this. I got these thoughts in my mind, this God talking to me, because it don't really seem like what's in the book and things like that. I'm having these weird feelings. I'm having these weird feelings, and man, that's. And then you just get trapped up. You get trapped up applying logic and man's words to things that we not able to fully comprehend ourselves yet. We're just able to feel in ourselves and know ourselves just a little more every day. Love you. But yep. Y'all want to try something about witches and everything. Like I was saying, the witches and everything, they were big on sacred herbs. Tea is a herb. Tea is a herb. You feel different and everything after drinking it. It's plants and things put together. You brew it in a cup. I can throw some bat wings in there and start. Yeah. Brawls and brubble, trolls in trouble. And then drink it. You're like, I'm gonna have a nice day. There it goes. I'm gonna have a nice day the rest of the day. Just because I did that. That's a spell right there. Like this, the simple things that we talk about programming your reality, putting intention into things. This is all what you would have been hanged for back in the day, back in the Salem witch trials, man. A personal experience, I remember talking about magic and coming across certain things and being suppressed. That's what those crazy Masons believe in. Like that. I remember exactly that phrase. Saying that's what those crazy Masons believe in. You need to be careful. Or even Naruto and stuff. Like y'all know hand signs and everything that goes on Naruto. I was told like watch out for that. Because you don't know what they really doing, what they really saying. But on the inside, I knew what they were saying. I was like, he's focusing his chakra or meditation. And y'all know about the different hand signs, like when you go like this, or go like this, or go like this, like how they all mean certain things, or go like this. So you can see, or go like this while meditating. Those all bring about certain transformations in the body when you let your mind go lucid and connect to these other realms. So I was just feeling like, oh, watching the cartoons and things like that. Cause I believe cartoons try to introduce you, like depending on what you watch and things, they're trying to introduce your little self. It's your bigger consciousness trying to introduce your little self to some clues so you can wake up to something that you are and actually start being it, not just watching it, but actually start being it. And that's what the church has a huge fear on when it comes to watching certain cartoons, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I was big up on. Sabrina, Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, All these shows, when you really pay attention, teach you about the inner workings of your own personality, and the demons and everything they were fighting were representations of, were just representations of like inner conflicts that they were holding on in themselves. Hey, hey, what's up, Anthony Barnes? Happy Halloween. Happy, where? Happy Halloween. Only reason I don't have this one because I can't breathe. But it says the layers of self-illusion. Wait, yeah, the layers of self-illusion are hard to realize past, so I can understand how people have different points. Wait, are hard to pass. So I see how people have different points of views. Yes, they are very hard to pass, man. Happy Halloween. Halloween music just came back on. We're talking about the Salem witch trials, witches, knowing yourself, and sticking to knowing yourself, because persecution is going to come. It's going to come from people that think that they believe that they know what they're talking about. But as we was going over, believe is a lie, because your being is in a lie. You're believing in a lie, an illusion. Anything that's here, anything that's written, anything that's said is illusion. This is the world of Maya. So those as Psychedelic Ill was saying, those layers of self-perception are really hard to break down. Something that's coming to me on Halloween, on Shamham, which is started off as a pagan, as the Christians labeled them pagans, but they were nature worshippers. As the nature worshippers put it, the ancient nature worshippers. This is like when the veil between the two worlds become thinner. That's something to tie about, because that veil, you hear about piercing the veil and psychedelics and everything, you say you go beyond the veil. And for those that have been beyond veil, when you hear things like, oh, nature worshippers and making a holiday saying, yeah, this is when the veil is most thinnest, to a Christian, that can be something totally different. Like, yeah, this is when evil spirits are allowed to wander the earth and live within other people's bodies when they put on masks and everything. So that's a huge fear that's put out there. But what's really going on is that when the veil, for me, when the veil is thinner, you're more able to be yourself. Like the costumes and everything, they come after. Like you can dress up every day. You hear the people that say I'm a monster. Every day is Halloween. Like they don't really mean they're a monster, like I want to kill people, but they understand that this body is not just them. So they like dressing up, changing the color of their hair and everything on just different random days of the year, just because. But on Halloween, for the most part, I believe that's when the veil is most thinnest, and that's when you see a lot of people bring out emotions and inner conflicts that they're trying to deal with to the surface, and it comes in the form of what they choose to actually represent themselves as when they put on the mask or they whole costume. Like people like to be superheroes. They're like, I'm like a superhero today. Or people like to dress creepy. Like I feel all this creepy stuff. I want to let it out. I want to become it. I want to become it because that's what they feeling on the inside. I want to become me right now for this moment. But I'm charging people to be you all the time. Be you all the time. And not be scared of what's going to rise up. And the benefits is going to be that you're going to live out your dreams. You're going to be able to live out your dreams because that veil, which is real thin on Halloween, Hashem him. I keep trying to say the original thing. you're going to be more whatever it is you want to bring out, more uplifting, more caring, more connected to your family and friends, because you see you're more connected with yourself around this time. And that's what I got. That's what I'm talking about right now. Whoa, how did Trump come up? A happy Halloween, guys. Let me actually change the song. But hey guys, man, too, if y'all have anything y'all want me to talk about, or questions, concerns, ways to improve the show, if you want to be part of the show, just let me know at Just Ty Now, or just Ty Now, or Just Ty, T-A-I, not T-H-I. Oh, I can just press that and skip it. Man, Salem witch trials. Something I was talking about was Freddy Krueger. And how he able to enter dreams and everything when people sleep. I don't know. That's something to tie about when you want to tie about dimensions and where you actually go to when you go to sleep, and how it ties into psychedelic experience and dreams, deep REM sleep. It's all, I believe it's all connected. Like where you go to when you dream and everything. It's in the whole. That's an actual place. That's your actual place. Just like DMT, you go to other places when you smoke it. You just transport yourselves to these other realms. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna cut this off right here pretty soon. Unless y'all got something else y'all want to talk about, I'll jump back in this a little later with some new Halloween scary topics or whatever. But this has been awesome talking about the Salem witch trials, Christianity, and how we need to really focus on and pay attention to what we wish to pay attention to. And recognize that a lot of people out here that's teaching us things and putting ideas in our head is just to cause more division and to break us apart even farther, when really we're all one. Psychedelics said, all places in all dimensions to me seems to be all one place. This place. I would say that until you actually until you actually have the experience of opening up your eyes and seeing something that you never seen or heard before, as Jordan likes to say. I'm talking about DMT experiences, and how the things that they see, I don't know, they couldn't imagine themselves creating. But and to tie on what you're saying, how they all seem to be in this one place, and could be like how a room, it seems like one room until you go to another level, and then you can see that there's other rooms. It contains more than one room, but when you're in that one room, all you can experience is that. Like dimension wise, dimension zero is just like a point, and then it turns into a line. But if you're just that ant walking along the line, you're just able to experience 2 dimensions, and that's it. But it still contains that 1 dimension. Yeah, that's what I was just going into. The layers. And how the 3 dimension, you're able to experience the 3rd dimension, the 2nd dimension, and the 1st dimension, but you can't experience the 4th dimension until you end, and then you just keep going up, and up into the EA lattice crystals that they reach into in science with the intellect now. Well, probably combining the intellect with the heart, because you can't see these E lattice crystals, but they were discovered with mathematics, and their shadow in the 3D reality creates the tetrahedron. Which, if you think about it a few times, saw that Jim Carrey, or if you listen to Captain Naga, we're all made up of floating tetrahedrons at the tiniest Planck length level. So, yeah, it is layers. And there's layers and also parallels and probably inner corners and other sanction of words that it's not even part of the English language for us to tie about or even bring up. We can tie about it, but to even pronounce, like the and then it's there's a lot of hidden corners, and this is all. I gotta know, guys. This is all witchcraft. all be deemed witchcraft by the church. Because we're talking about extra dimensions and having a sense of them and actually believing in them and believing that we can travel to these places, that we actually exist in other places besides here, that we're multi-dimensional beings having a human experience. These are all things that you would have been hanged by in the church back in the day. Hanged in Salem, Massachusetts. I keep saying that because this was this episode is about, right? Salem. Oh wow, yeah. I just was on biography.com. I see this thing. We're talking about reality, yes. And what they're talking about is the illusion that we get caught in. The people that want to kill people for speaking up, for trying to break stigmatisms, those are the ones that believe in a lie. They're being in a lie. Their being is existing in a lie. Yeah, this is something that they wrote on biography.com. Talking about women. And said, in fact, 5 of the 20 who were executed were men. These men, and this was during Salem. Drink some water, tea. Do a little breathing. All right. These men were not well liked in the community, and many were very out against the witch trials, the men that were killed during these Salem witch trials. The accused and convicted women also challenged the norms of community. They were opinionated and forthright, while some had bad reputations due to their unladylike behavior. Many believe that this is perhaps why certain men and women were targeted and accused of witchcraft. And this is on biography.com. I just was scrolling up trying to find some more to talk about, and it ties right into what we were just talking about. Synchronicities, my Tai'ers. Not my Tai'ers, but y'all get what I'm saying. My friends. But wow. So as y'all see, most of the people didn't even go out saying that they themselves was talking to the devil, and that's why the hysteria was started up to kill them. But most people were saying, hey, this lady is on to something. Now this person, this male figure themselves probably didn't get ingest the molded rye bread and had psychedelic experiences. But we're all spiritually inclined on our own level. And some males have what I will call the combination of the male female energies in them combined a little more than most, so they have intuition about things, a creative side to them that they're able to express on a whim or whenever they want to at varying degrees, but it goes up, it goes higher and higher and higher. Look at singers and stuff like that. If they're in a combination of both masculine and feminine energies, that's you gotta just tie on that, just tie. But they were probably feeling that, yo, this person is onto something. I've been having these bad thoughts of what they're voicing out right now, so I'm going to defend these women. And doing that, they were defending the sacred feminine as well against the masculine energy that rules over this world, that not rules, because none rules me, but dominates, tries its best to dominate in this world. And where we look out, that's what most people choose to rely on, the control factor. Because when you just in the control factor and get all lost in it, you're so close to fear that you see fear as an inaugural part of living. It's something that you need in order to guess what's going to happen next so that you can properly prepare yourself. But the sacred feminine is like, oh, anything is possible. It's okay. Let's go. Let's do this. But the why this was so brought up, and I'll keep bringing this up, is because the Protestants and everything weren't having it. It wasn't even women talking in the church. Women couldn't preach and deliver the gospel, the good news. A lady couldn't do that. So, man, when it comes to all of this, when it comes to suppression, we gotta be free. We gotta break free. I started that dun, 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 dun. That sounded like Kingdom Hearts for a second. But this is all some Halloween music I just got from YouTube copyright free library. That's another story. Alright, something scary about the executions. Yeah, because shout outs to these people that were actually hanged for what they believed in. I'm gonna be a martyr in my book. These people were martyrs. In all, there were 4 executions on which 19 men were taken to Protector's Lodge to die by hanging from a tree. In 1992, Bridget Bishop was hanged. Bridget. About a month later, on July 19, Sarah Good, Rebecca Nurse, Suzanne Martin, Elizabeth Howey, and Sarah Wilds were executed. 5 more were hanged on August 19, 1692, including 1 woman, Martha Carrier, and 4 men, John Willard, Reverend George Barrows. He was a reverend. They even hanged the reverend. The reverend was like, I'm probably on to a lot of things and was like, I know the Bible, I preach the Bible, but it's some more truth out there. And it was like, he gotta go too. George Jacob Sr. and John Proctor. The final execution was September 22nd, 1692. So they was doing executions, wow, for a couple months. They was doing some trials, and then they boiled their blood up a bit. They was like, we can't control these people. They talking about the devil. We gotta kill them. Wow. The final execution was September 22nd, on which 8 were hanged. Mary, Martha, Anne, Samuel, Mary, Alex, Wilmot, and Margaret Scott. In addition, 71-year-old Gilles Corey died after being pressed with heavy stones. Pressed with heavy stones? So they ain't stone him. They pressed it against him until he died, just kept putting more stones on top of him. He was 71 years old. Look at the madness that is brought out in people, that it can be brought out in you. That's why I'm always saying, just tie. Not to point the finger, but to really dive deep within yourself. See the monster, the horrors that exist within yourself, because we are the universe. So if you think that everything is all good in yourself and that all the evil and everything exists on the outside, just tie. Just think about it. Combine your mind with your heart. Connect those 2 circles, keep them spinning, and let whatever come out, it just come out, and really go with it. That's why, just to tie back into real fast, the psychedelic studies being performed and how it connects on your amygdala center and hyphens it up so that you respond to emotional stimuli more, like happy faces or sad faces is what the study was doing, and you're actually able to face your fears and want to face your fears because they're just abrupt from you. And you're like, oh wow, that's me, wow. And you gotta sit down, meditate, and accept it, or let it run your subconscious program, which then runs your mental program. So you don't see it as you doing things, you see it as other people doing things, and you just go out and point the finger at them, and then after a while you probably be willing to hang some people. Remember a lot of people out back in the day, I was willing to hang. I was like, yo, I don't deserve to live, like, come on. But nowadays I'm like, we're all kids, we're all experiencing this reality together, we're all creating this reality together, you know. But to go back to the 71-year-old who was pressed with heavy stones. His punishment, this is what they said, for refusing to enter an innocent and or guilty plea to the court. Oh, got cool vampire teeth. Say happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. I gotta go, yeah, his punishment for refusing to enter an innocent or guilty plea to the court. So he didn't want to say if he was guilty or not guilty. He was just like, I'm an old man. I have a lot of experiences. I can't translate them. I'm not going to give y'all any words. So they just stoned them to death. These are martyrs. And this ties for me to the place on psychedelics. How people have these weird experiences. And there's a lot of people out here that's just going to let people talk. Just letting a lot of people just bury them because they don't want to speak up and disrupt anybody else's ideals and ways of living. I come into that play into that as well when I tie about my grandmom and stuff like that. Like I'm still talk to them a lot and they're still real into the church. And even when I was back in the past, before I was even introduced to psychedelics, I used to have ideas and I don't want to bring it up to them because I see that they're back then I would say I see that they're happy doing what they're doing and I don't want to make them unhappy or have them worry about me or stuff like that. I just keep it to myself and things like that. And I would think that about a lot of people, but now I'm like I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk so that you can honestly know where I'm coming from with things. But this 71-year-old guy, Gilles Corey, he refused to talk to people. I don't think I'm going to say Tom is a sham. And it said four more of the convicted, Lydia Ann Foster, Sarah Osborne, that sounds like a celebrity, and Roger Toothtaker died in the unbearable conditions in the witch trial jails awaiting their executions. They were not afforded barriers. Their corpses were thrown into shallow graves. However, the bodies of Rebecca Norse, John Proctor, and George Jacobs were eventually retrieved by their families and given Christian burials. They like you can't even die, you can't even be buried properly like we like we usually do. Wow. Hey man, just make sure y'all go back and watch that one where I was saying, watch what y'all paying attention to. Watch what y'all paying attention to and everything. But can just continue to show love even on this day. The veil is thin, but let that veil be thin so that you can actually feel the love within yourself. And if you're feeling those monsters erupt within you, love them. Love them. And know that y'all have a lot in common. Learn to love that monster in yourself. That's going to be the only way he's not going to scare you and control you and believe that he doesn't really exist on the outside of you. He only exists on the inside of you. And then you'll just stop and be able to look out into the world and see the beauty that's there. The beauty of the light always coming out of the darkness. And that the darkness needs to be there for the light. And that the light needs to be there for the darkness. It all coincides. Can't have a picture without a background. So, just tie on all of this, guys. This has been awesome. Have a happy Halloween. And I'm going to do the rest of the show like this because I want y'all to go check out the YouTube and all of that. But whatever. I got some shirts coming soon. And I'm just now tying that I could have had this spooky fall going the whole time. But in other ways, thank you guys for tuning in and having some fun with Captain Naga and the Tai'ers. Check us out on Instagram at Just Tied. Shirts I said coming soon. I'm working on an iPad designing some cool shirts. And I'll see y'all later. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. We all tied. But do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. Until next time, have a nice one, Anthony. Have a nice one, Psychedelic Ill. I'll see y'all next time. Tie always.